record. And I am going to go use your squares, something you all submitted. I modified mine a little bit, but you submitted it, and it was one of the code listings. So if you want to take a second and go grab it, you can. Load up something different today. Instead of me just lecturing on paper and turning you loose, we're going to start out with you all working with the file today. Mix it up a little bit.
Oh, so I download it?
Yeah, you should have it, right? You typed in the code listings. One of your code listings was called Use Your Squares. I actually didn't type this in. I stole one of yours, and something that drove me crazy was the fact that all of these lines of code were left justified. And that just, ooh, sometimes that's a sign of copying.
They're not organize the programs in the folders.
Do I?
Do you?
I'm organized. Don't I look organized?
No, I meant on the far left.
Oh, no, I don't bother with that. Because I pull most of my stuff out of downloads, if that makes sense. Like I have them all, they're stored somewhere else, but this is more like my working box than anything. Okay, so we got the whole idea. I already put Java util scanner in there. Anyhow, so you type this in, and I move the scanner up here with my variables. So mine looks pretty much like yours, but you know, I love this line 13 that I have on mine, just because you can see how it breaks up what's going on in there in the beginning. One of the students in your class up in the beginning, he makes a note of what he does and saves the program as version 1, version 2, version 3. It's kind of cool how they keep making modifications. But in this one, again, this is a learning one. So when I run it, you know, it's going to give me a bunch of crap down here in the console, which, you know, as a programmer, I'm using, making sure everything works. And then my job is going to be to make it look pretty for the user, because the user is not going to open up Java. They're going to want to just run an application. Okay, so a couple of things. You know, again, I cleaned this up. Yours has a for loop. Mine has a while loop. Line 26 is the initial value. Line 27 is the check. And line 31 is the increment. What are the 3 parts of the loop control variable? It's a test question, I'm telling you right now. 3 parts of a control variable. Number is the initial value. Line 27 is my check. Line 31 is my increment. And as I go through, now some things the author does that drives me crazy is he breaks up a lot of lines.
So what do you say so what do you say is assignment, check, and increment, or just control variable?
The loop control variable does 3 things. It has an initial value, like in line 26.
Yeah.
It has a check.
Like I just thought asking about terminology.
Yep. Initial value, a check, and an increment. Anyhow, as I was saying a moment ago, the author breaks up lines, and 2 reasons he does it. One, we don't need to. You can let it be one big long line. You don't have to follow his example. The reason is it makes it a little easier to read sometimes in the textbook, but in the old days, our screens were 80 columns by 26 rows. We didn't have font sizes. We didn't have multiple fonts. We had a font. So when the line started to get too long, it just made a mess. So he's a little bit old school, and he likes to break things up. And I'm telling you now, it's not really necessary. Okay, so here we get ready to display the table. You know, we could put in a note that this is our heading. Do you notice how the heading is before the loop? Okay, down here inside of the body, Numbers 1, it's going to rotate around. Line 30, after I'm done everything I need to do for 1, I now increment it. And then I go back up. So nice little simple program to print out that table. What I would like you to do is take about 10 minutes, maybe even 5, and go make these GUIs. Okay, so if you want to just follow along with me, you can. I always
You
have,
mean make into an option pane?
yep. So I have a cheater. I'm always going to go to a cheater, and a cheater means I don't feel like typing import JavaX swing, da 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 da. So I'm going to copy this from a different program. First thing I need to do is change my import statements.
I always hear you say GUI, but I don't. How is that spelled and what is it?
GUI, it's a graphical user interface. So it's an
Thank you.
interface for the user that uses graphics, which is our J option pane. Say, okay, cool. Is that Darren?
Yeah, I said thank you and
Oh,
thank
okay.
you.
Okay, good. I also know now I'm starting to get into the habit of I'm going to use instra and outstra. So I know some of you are off working on that because the instra is for my inputting and the outstra is from what I'm going to display later. Okay, I'm going back to my cheater file and I'm going to just copy an input.
Okay,
statement.
funny story.
Uh-oh.
I
Go ahead.
already have an option pane format.
Good. Then we could just look at your program and you can show us what to do.
Okay.
No, I'll keep demonstrating. Okay, so that's an example of an input. I noticed there's another statement, so I'm going to steal this guy for my output, and I think I should be good. So Control V, the first thing that's going on in this program is I am saying I will display a table. Again, I don't need that stinking plus sign of numbers and their squares. So I'm going to replace this line, Control C, and this time I'm just going to put it in for pay. Good. I replaced this. You're out of here. All right. Now this looks like it's going to be something here. So again, I'm a big instra person. And it's not going to be sense. We're going to call this max value, MAXVALUE equals integer dot parse int of instra. And I want to use this method, or this string literal. How high should I go? All those years of playing Pac-Man have come back to help me. All right, so I have instra coming in and it's going to get turned into max value. So all of this is gone. Well, I'm deleting a lot of stuff. All right, it looks like I need to get the headings. So I'm going to start with creating my outstra, OUTST equals. So far, so good. /n. Some of you that are watching, as soon as I mess up, let me know. And I know I want to keep adding to outstra. So far, so good.
I was curious in the book for the little format, percent whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We learned about 3 flags. Are there more?
I don't know.
Okay.
So in 35 years, I'm going to say I probably have seen more. but I don't use them to remember them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
learn a lot, but I forget a lot as well.
yeah. And can you use more than one at a time? Like, can you use the left justify and the comma? I was having trouble with that.
I'm gonna say you should be able to, yes.
Okay.
All right, so I'm still rolling along. And I'm reusing code again. And I know that's my final output. So here's this, here's this. So the last thing I'm gonna need is to come in here and change where I'm adding this to my outstra. Somebody tell me what should go here?
Outstra equals Outstra plus, and then your existing statement.
Anything else?
Yeah, you should put a new line before it.
Excellent.
No, shouldn't it go before?
I don't want it before. Up here at 21, I have 2 of them. So after that, I'm gonna do a carriage return and then a blank line.
So you could get rid of one up top and then add one to the beginning below.
I could, but then that
Because
would,
otherwise the formatting wouldn't work as well.
I like it my way. But your way is absolutely acceptable, Anthony. Oh no, what did I mess up? Somebody tell me. Bueller,
Oh, you don't need
Wait,
that.
parentheses?
Yeah, there you go.
thank you. Let's see what's going on. What's going on? Show me a number. Input a number. Oh, nice, thank you. And all of my output will be in one table, and there it is. Uh-oh. What doesn't work?
We didn't see your output dialog.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll tell you what doesn't work. The tabs. So I'm just gonna put a bunch of spaces in there for now. I could get into field width and so on and so on. Okay, so moving right along. I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna find a new use for a while loop. The new use is a bad data checker. So let's say they input a number, but if it's a negative, it's gonna just crash my program, right? So we don't want them to enter a negative. So I'm gonna have a new loop here, a while loop. And I wanna make sure my number that's entered is greater than 0. So I'm gonna do a while. Somebody tell me what to type to do a bad data check.
Number,
While max
maximum number less than 1.
is less than 1. Okay. I'm going to do what?
Maximum number equal integer parse end.
No, I already have it as an integer. Okay. If it's less than 1, I'm going to,
Do a message.
Display, you want to display a message, right? And then you
right,
want
I'm gonna ask for a new number. So
And
I'm
then
just
you-
gonna
yeah.
cut and paste this, get my indenting.
input validation.
Yeah, there's my input validation. These lines, I ask for a value, I don't like it, I ask for again. So I'm even gonna come in here, bad number, dash, just to make a little bit different message. So now, what is my loop control variable? Because there's a variable that controls this. What is it? Bueller? So all of a sudden I made this a little cleaner. This is my input. I come in, I ask for it. What value is being checked in my check? Don't say 1. What's the variable?
Max value.
Max value. Did it get an initial value? Yes. In line 16, it got an initial value. does it get incremented? Well, not incremented, but updated. Another word you can use here in line 21. So now it's going to come in and ask for a value. It's less than 1. I'm going to re-ask for the value. Totally taking advantage of cutting and pasting. Okay, so that's a real good use of a while loop, what you see up above here. Down here, I have a while loop that runs from 1 to max value times. All right, so I'm going to skip ahead. And section 4.5 talks about another type of loop. And my other type of loop is a for loop. So right now I have lines 31, 32, and 35 control my loop. Well, some of you already know what's coming with the for loop. And this is a special kind of loop. It's a loop that I can use when I know the exact number of times I want to run a body. For parentheses. Let's see, I'm going to need a new variable. And most of you know by now, I love CTR for my loop control variable. For. So if I wanted to run with a for loop, I need an initial value. Again, I keep repeating this over and over. CTR equals 1. I need, again, I'm putting all 3 lines into 1 line. I need a check. CTR is less than or equal to that max number, or excuse me, max value. And I want to increment it. And this is where you're going to see that post increment operator used quite a bit. It's going to be right there. What does not go at the end of line 32?
Semicolon.
Right, a semicolon. So hopefully now if I run this, I have good stuff in here that works. Unlike this, that does not work. What doesn't it
You
like?
changed your loop control variable. So you need to change in your out string, you need to change a number to control.
Control, yeah.
Gotcha. Counter.
Yeah, sorry.
CR. Okay.
At least Dorian and I were on the same page
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Okay with that. CTR times CTR, or I could have done math.pow. But then if I did math.pow, what data type would I have?
Double.
Double. And then I probably would have to think, do I have to format this or not? And so we'll just go counter times counter now with a
You
little
could
lot.
cast it, right?
What's that?
You could.
We could cast
Said you
it
could
as well.
cast it to
You're
an
correct.
int.
So there, how high should I go? -1. Oh no, dummy. How high should I go? 3. And all of my output is in 1 output box. Nice. I like it. I love it. I'm sorry. So we're just moving right along here with some of these examples. And before I jump back to for loops, I'm now thinking, okay, so I start here with my program. It comes in, it starts at line 12, all right? And it comes all the way down to line 38. So I'm going to put something that looks like this, end body for right now. So I have my indenting. It's all good. I'm going to move that over as well. And now what I'm going to do this last thing is programs up. It works. It runs. We're happy. But now what if the user said, oh, now I have to do all that stuff to make it run again? Okay, so we're going to add, using our third type of loop, a do loop, the run again option. So let's see, the first thing I'm going to do is, what kind of loop control variable would you like for a run again option? A Boolean, a character, integer. So
Yeah,
we're going to ask the
character.
user, what's that? You want it to be a character? Let's go with char. So now I'm going to a little planning ahead. I'm not going to indent so far. Do. So it's going to come in and it's going to do all of this. And now I'm going to have to do something like while char ch equals, Now, what's our trigger going to be? Do we want to say Y or N? That's the most popular one.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, I don't know how that got up there. Okay, do while equals that. Okay, now I need one more thing in here. The do starts it, the while I come down and it's going to send me back up. But right here, I'm going to have to ask the user, would you like to run again? And we're going to be really clear about it because we're going to copy again. I'm stealing code. I'm going to come down here. I'm really good at stealing code. Input straw, da 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 da. We're going to be really clear about how we want them to enter it. Would you like to run again? Parenthesis Y/N. That way they know what to enter. I'm going to come in and say, oh, that's my instra dotty dotty dotty, and I need a character from a string. How do I get a character out of a string?
You got to use the
Error at 0.
chart. Yeah, the method.
Yeah, so I can even save myself a little bit. I didn't even need to create the character CH. I could have said input, or excuse me, instra dot char at 0. So my run again option, I didn't do it until everything else was done. Then I went up to the beginning before all this, did a do. I come down after all this, I have my while, and inside of there, I'm saying, would you like to run again?
Where was the do again?
Up at the beginning, way up here. So there's my declaration section. Again, I didn't need CH.
So
Say
do you
bye.
don't you need after do and before the while at the end, do you need the brackets?
Yep.
Okay.
So I need to encase that body. Some languages you don't, just an FYI. And I'm going to put this brace here. I like to indent stuff. How's that? Dorian, good catch.
Yeah, in the book they actually he puts the brace and the while like on the same line.
Yeah. He also does this. I'm looking at line 35. He likes to put that left brace at the end of the for line.
Right.
Sure, he has a reason. I just don't like it. Do I need lines 35 and 37?
No.
No, because it's only one
Because
statement.
it's only one statement. All right, is this going to work? Drum roll.
Did you fix your character value?
I got rid of that.
Okay. Yeah, then
Yeah, I didn't need it.
it should run.
It should run. Yeah, that's a nice, safe answer. Yeah, it should run. What are the odds? Uh-oh. Nice. All right, how high should I go? We don't want to go too high. 4, da, 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 da. Nice. Would you like to run again? If I hit a Y, specifically a lowercase y, I'm going to say, oh, nice, it runs again. And hopefully when I hit an N, it's shut down. Good. Ta-ta. Questions? Okay, where's my stop share button? I'm gonna come back over. Stop share. I need to take a quick view of the gallery. And I see, did Jin ever show up? There is no Jin, and there is no David.
I'm here.
Where are you, Jin? I see you. You are. It's good. I double checked. Did a David show up? Oh, David.
I'm here.
David is here. We have perfect attendance. Awesome. All right, let me change my view. Let's go back to speaker view. Let's change my camera to something that looks like this. And that's great. Nice job, Dan. Okay, here we go. Looks something like this. Okay, we just did good use for while loops. You know, write a program. We did a program. Add an input validation. which we did. Okay, we didn't do this exact example, but we modified something we'd already done. I wanted you to be touching keys and working on your own. Use a do while loop to add a run again option. We did it in 3. I can name that tune in 3 lines, plus braces. Not too bad. We talked about the loop you'll probably use most of the time, the for loop. I still have my initial value, I have my test, and I have my increment or update in this case. Do we put a semicolon at the end of the line? No. Okay. Use only when we know the exact iterations. If I need to run a loop 10 times, a for loop is great. The only loop I ever needed to learn was a while loop, because I could use a while loop for everything. The other ones just have a little bit cuter layout. You notice the do loop once again, and the do loop fits this guy, where it comes in and does the body at least once. And it was a post-fix check. It checked at the end. Okay, so this was a run again. Said it works well for mains or menu programs, for run again options and so on. All right, display numbers. Yeah, we did some of that stuff with a message box and so on and so on. And we did the squares and we made it look like a table and it was all pretty. Okay, again, you can't put a semicolon there. If there was no semicolon, how many times would this loop run?
10.
10 times, okay, 10 times. And again, we've seen the use of putting the counter inside the loop. How many times will this second one run that I just crossed out the answer so you couldn't see it?
What, the 11? Is it 11?
The second one, how many times does that run?
20
I hear a 20.
or 19?
I hear a 19.
I think it's 19.
Because
I
it's
think
less
it's
than
19.
200.
Yes, it is 19. If it would have been equals to 20, it would have been 20. So
Right.
it is in fact 19. We got that. I can erase it. So if I use this sheet again, it's already gone. What about the last one? How many times does it run? If I was to display counter inside of that loop, what would I be displaying?
Decreasing numbers. So it'd display 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it would close.
Blast off. Yeah, it blast off. Right. What if this would have been plus plus?
It
Wouldn't have worked, right?
it starts at 11, it increases, and as long as it'll be an infinite loop.
Oh,
It would be an
yeah.
infinite loop. Yeah. Yeah, Dorian, it's kind of tricked you there for a second. As soon as
Yeah.
you start putting numbers in, then you got the idea of what's going on. Okay. Any questions?
No.
No. No.
Oh, I did have a question.
Go ahead.
So is it cleaner to understand? So looking at that first for example, right? So we want it to run 10 times.
Yep.
Do you think it's easier to do that as control is less than 11 or control is less than or equal to 10?
Both are fine. Not a word I'd like to use.
Is
Both are fine.
is there one that you find reads easier or that more people use?
Less than. The less than 11, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Which do you prefer?
what about random numbers?
What about random numbers? Did we cover those yet?
And because the definitions paper is asking about that, like an example of random numbers from 1 to 10.
Okay. Do you, let me pause the recording. Yes. Okay, so the question is about random numbers. And I'm going to come over here. So I have a program up in front of me and, I'd like to, I just want to be able to display a random number. All right. And once we do this, random numbers are great. So grab the book. Somebody First question is, do I need to import anything? Well, this, for those of you that are looking ahead and are starting to work on the next assignment, section 411, as I mentioned just a moment ago. So I'm going to grab my book and I'm going to let y'all teach me, what do I need for a program to do random numbers? As always, I check right away. Do I need an import statement? Yes, you do. I do. What's the import statement?
Java.util.random. That's a guess.
Java.util.random.
So is this going to be on assignment like 4.2, the next program?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. So I know I needed that in my program. All right. So I'm going to come down because I love to make notes and practicing using a random number. All right. So this is totally its own section and everything. All right. Now what do I need to do? I'm probably going to need int number because I'm going to input a random number. And so going back to something that we're going to cover in chapter 6, it's going to make more sense. We're going to have something where I'm going to use what's called the random class, and I'm going to instantiate an object called random numbers, and it's still from that random class. A lot of this will start to make sense when you get to chapter 6. Okay. So I needed to do the import up above. I now need to do what's called instantiate an object. And now I'm going to say num equals. And let's say I want a random number from 1 to 10. So I'm going to use that object I just created. This is official terminology called random numbers. Dot. And I want to get an integer, which is what we're going to want whatever number of times. Now, I want the numbers from 1 to 10, a random number from 1 to 10. So I'm going to say 10. Now, what 10 will give me, and this is our goofy world of programming, it'll give me the numbers 0 to 9. It'll give me 10 numbers. So if I put a +1 in, I will now get the numbers from 0 to 9. If I add 1, I get the numbers from 1 to 10.
So what if you just put 11? Would it do the same thing?
It would give me the numbers.
If you put an 11, it would go from 0 to 10, right?
That's correct.
Right.
That would
Okay.
go from 0 to 10. We wanted 1 to 10. So we have to do that displacement. If I did this, random, let's go 14 plus 3. What numbers would that give you?
2 to 16.
Not 2. Oh, yeah, 2 to 16. Sorry. Displacement by 3. Settle down.
I play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. This is the math I do a lot.
Yeah. All right. So now I'm going to need to do a simple system.out.println of num, num to see if it works. Now, before I do all of that, I'm going to come up here and go asterisk slash, and I'm going to come all the way up here before my do and do slash asterisk. I don't need to run through all of that every time. I'm just interested in this part right here. Drum roll. Please give me a number between 1 and 10. Ta-da, it gave me a 9. Run it again. It gave me a 10. So I'm just curious, what if I do this? For CTR equals 1. CTR is less than 11. Oh, that's not less than 11. CTR plus plus. I'm going to do a beginning brace. I'm going to do an ending brace. What's that going to do?
11 number in a random, 10 numbers in a random order.
Excellent, excellent. So now if I run this, I get an error message. because I can't type. Shift, parentheses. Uh-oh. The heck did you do, dum-dum?
Do you need to make the variable for CTR?
I think I have it from up above.
Hmm.
Yeah, up in my declaration section. Yeah, I just did num down here just to keep an eye on it. Good catch. Oh, I got a bunch of numbers. I take that, I can take it up and go, let's see. Oh, I didn't get a 1. But luckily I didn't get a 0, an 11, or a 27. I did get numbers between 1 and 10. I didn't see 7 either. Okay, so it's kind of clean and simple, you know, and hopefully a lot of you are working at home, typing in as I'm typing in, and you have this good example.
Can you show me the utility again? I didn't put it in.
Show me the money. Java.util.random.
Thank you.
And see that word random is a class, and it matches up with the word random down here.
Similar to the scanner, right?
Yep, these are all classes. Chapter 6, we write our own classes. So you'll get a deeper understanding of what's going on there.
Is random number something used frequently enough that we should put it in our skeleton?
Yeah, I would. Yep. Yep. Good question. Okay.
And then similarly to how they always did, they always named their scanner object keyboard. Is it just easy to do? Because what on random numbers, that's a user defined.
I could have
name.
made this RAN if I wanted.
But that's just, is random numbers the one that most people use?
Yep, just because it's descriptive. You could have gotten away with that.
Okay.
Yep. So it's not exactly a variable, but I'm declaring something similar to a variable here. And its data type is this random.
Mhm.
Okay. So like we do within, but because it's a class, I have to set it up a certain way. And it's actually called instantiating an object. Alrighty. I actually think that's a good stopping point for today. I did more teaching than I normally would, but I just wanted to mix it up instead of dumping everybody into rooms.